Hi everyone, I'm back again. Last week we looked at how you can import your photos, and then it kind of occurred to me that maybe you might like to know how to export them as well. So exporting is just basically another way of saying that you're saving your photos. So like you can see here, if you do work on a photo in Lightroom, well, it just stays in Lightroom. So if we have a look at this photo in Bridge, like this is it here, you can see nothing's been done to it, but it's exactly the same image. So I thought today we could have a look at how we can export our photos. Now I've done a bit of work on about 10 images here. It's really rough, it's not great, but I just thought we'll use these photos to export. Now I'm going to do this in sort of two parts in the one video. The first part's going to be a very simple way of doing it, just the bare basics, and then I'm going to do another one exporting them again, showing you a little bit more things that you can do to them when you're exporting them. Okay, so we don't need anything here, but we do need the photos that we plan on exporting. Now I've gone through and given each photo 2 stars that I've worked on. You might be able to see that here and here, although it's pretty small. But if we just go over to this, the filters, and we just click the 2, there's all the photos that I want to export. Now it's only going to export the first one that's highlighted, so you need to highlight them all. So we're going to do Control A. Excuse me. So there's our photos. I will put all the photos at the end of the video so you can get a better look at them if you choose. So now what we want to do is we want to click Export. Now this is kind of already set up for me, but we can go through different ways. And as I said, this is just going to be the absolute bare basics. So the first one is you've got to put them somewhere. So you have lots of options here that you can do. I tend to like to keep them in the same folder that they were in. So I always put the same folder as original photo. That way, whenever I open the folder, I can see that there is another folder there with all the photos that I've done work on. So we're going to do that. Now you can put them into a subfolder, which is what I just said. I mean, if you unclick that, all the photos will just go into that folder and it can be a bit harder to find them. But so I always do put in subfolders, so I've got low res. So I know when I look at that folder that these are the low res images from Lightroom. I'm not going to worry about the file naming, video, any of that. File settings, I'm assuming most of you are going to want to do JPEG. There are lots of different options there. You do original, whatever that is, JPEG. So most of the time I just do JPEG, and you can do your quality. So it goes up to 100, about I think 80 is kind of around where everybody wants their photos. The color space, you've got a few options here. I've just always used this sRGB. I have looked it up in the past. I'm not quite sure what it is, but it's not bad, and I've been told by other people that when I'm exporting my photos that that's the best one to go for. I'm not going to limit the size. I do want to, because you don't have to do this. If you don't click this, you'll just get it'll just basically save all your photos as JPEGs, and they'll be the size that they are. I tend to do this because I want to put photos on my blog, so I resize to fit. So I'm going to click that. You can then decide how big you want them. I mean, this does not mean that the photos will be 1000 by 1000 pixels. It just means that it'll take the longest side and will make it 1000 pixels. So that just covers you for, landscape and portrait style or vertical or horizontal photos. I'm going to put I've just got my resolution at 150, and I find that's fine. Sharpen for screen, you can do it for screen, because most of the time that's exactly where my photos are going to go, is on a laptop. All metadata. You can put whatever you like there. I've got all, but I've removed some of the information. So all my personal data is removed. I've removed location, or not that there's ever any location details anyway, but I don't. So people can have a look. I think if they do properties or something like that, they can see how, you know, ISO, aperture, that kind of thing. But I just don't want any of my personal information on there. And that's more to protect myself too. So it's a way for me to be able to, I hope anyway, that if I ever get in a case where I've got to prove that a photo belongs to me. Watermarking we're not going to cover now. And post-processing. So you can do, basically this is just what happens to the photos after you've exported them. You can just do nothing if you want to. I always just show in Explorer. So once Explorer is done, then you can it'll just open up and you can see your photos, which is what we're going to do here. So I'm just going to go export now. And then if we go to, so now we just have to wait for these photos to be exported. I don't know that you can really tell. Oh, look, it's changing photos here. So, or was that me? No, that was me. Sorry. So the Explorer, this shouldn't take too long because there's only 10 photos. There we go. So there's our photos in Explorer. You can see it's in a folder here. These photos were taken in the city recently when my friend Anne was here from California, and we went for a walk. She wanted to see some of my Melbourne, especially the Webb Bridge. So I'm just going to close that now. So now what we'll do is we'll have a look at more in depth of some of the things that you can do when you're importing your photos. I am going to cover watermarks here, but not in a great lot of detail. But let me know if you'd really like to see how you can do watermarks. So we've got all our photos. We'll just make sure that they are all highlighted again, and we just go back into export. Now I can't put these photos into the same folder that they were in before because, well, you know, they'll just copy and they'll look silly. And so what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to change the name of this. So I'll just do low res 2, simple. Now one thing you can do is you can rename your photos. So I have got I've done the custom name and the original file number. So if the file number is, I don't know, what is one of them? I can't really see here because it's going to be too hard, but you know, you can do it any way you want. Check it. You can pick and choose exactly how you want to do this. So I don't mind the custom name and original file number because I'm going to be putting these photos up on the internet. I don't need to know all that other information. So I'm just going to say that. So obviously this is not Garden Lens Baby. So this is the city with Anne. So I might put city. Well, actually, let's do Melbourne, bridges. Actually, we'll do river because it was all along the river, and then the 24821. So that's the first photo, but it will put this bit here for all of them and then just change this part. This number here will just change. Okay, so now we'll go down to, this is not a video, so we don't need to worry about it. This doesn't have to change. What I might do is if I've done some photos that I really, really like, I might just export them as PSDs and then not click resize to fit. So, but this is fine. I'm okay with all of this here. None of this I think really needs to change. I guess one of the big things here is the watermark. So we want a watermark. So we can just do a simple copyright watermark, or we can, and it'll just put, I think, my name. Not even sure if it'll put my name. I can't remember. It's been so long since I've done a watermark. We'll do edit watermarks. So there we go, copyright at Leanne Cole. And then here we can choose the opacity of it. So we can make it, well, that's a shadow. We don't want a shadow. The opacity of it, you can see there, we can go to 0, and then I just like to bring it up until you can just sort of see it. A lot of people get really distracted with watermarks. They can protect you, but at the same time, I used to find I've sort of stopped doing them now, but you get people that complain and why do you put a watermark on your photo and all that sort of stuff. So you can decide here how big you want it. Oh, what does fit do? Oh yeah, or fill. No, we don't want either of those. Let's just make it proportional. Okay, so now you can do it. So you can decide here where you want to put it. So you can put it sort of anywhere you like. I used to put it here in this corner, but you can rotate it. So, and I would put it up the side like that. So it was kind of at the side of the photo. And then you just save that. You've already, this is one of the things that used to be kind of annoying with it, because every time you did this, you'd have to save this stuff. So anyway, we'll just go watermark Leanne Cole and create it. So in theory, I should be able to use that anytime I want to. And that's basically it. Now, another thing you can do is if you know that you're going to use the same settings all the time, you can create a preset. I have done this in the past. Oh, look, we've got a couple here. But I just have it set up the same every time. I rarely change what I do. So anyway, we'll just export these now. And they should hopefully have a watermark on them. We'll have a look at one of them. And they should have a different name. I don't know, has anybody noticed that in Photoshop now, when you're looking at your photos in Bridge, it doesn't just automatically show you the file name? Oh, it's so annoying. You've got to like click on each photo to get to the photo that you're specifically looking for. It drives me nuts. While they're exporting, I'll show you what I mean. So this is Bridge. So, oh, actually, well, there they are. Let's have a look at one of them and see if we can. So there's the watermark. So you can see it worked and they've all exported, and they should be like, if we do properties, oh, it's not going to show us here, but yeah, you get the size and that sort of thing. But yeah, I think if we went into Photoshop, let's just undo that. Let's just make these all small again. So if we go here, you can see this is a folder with all the photos. Oh, just ignore that. It's another thing that Photoshop has started doing. I don't know why. If we go out and go back in, we've just got 2 folders. Okay, so if we click on one of these, you can see over here, this photo is 667 by 1000 pixels, which is exactly what we wanted. But see what I mean? You can't see, like if we go back here, you can't see the file names under any of them. So you've got to actually click on the photo and it comes over here. I mean, it's just insane. So if you're trying to find a particular photo, especially one where you've taken heaps of them, or you've got to go through and then you've got to click each photo to find the ones that you wanted. And it's the same thing if you do the, like you can see here, I've done red. I've selected 3 photos with red. I think this is one of them. So you can see over here that it's been selected, but you can't see in the grand scheme of things that it's been selected. I don't know whose bright idea that was, and I don't know why they've done it, but I'm just here to tell you I don't like it. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. If you would like another tutorial on watermarking your images, happy to do one for you. And as I said, once I finish talking, I'll do a small slideshow of those 10 photos that we just exported. Do you want the ones with the watermarks or without? We'll see. I might do them without because I have to trim them a bit for YouTube. Okay, I'll see you all next week. Bye.